So I just watched the 10-minute gameplay demo of Legends of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm even more excited than I was before watching. I knew that Nintendo would do a good job with this game because they have a huge affection for their franchise and most of their games are very good. So I was not too worried about the quality of Tears of the Kingdom. And I went into the video with my expectations really high, and my friends, Nintendo managed to exceed them. The whole demo can be summarized in 4 new abilities that Link will have in the game: Recall, Fuse, Ultra Hand, and Ascend. You might be thinking, only 4 abilities? How can you be excited about 4 abilities? Well guys, these skills are not just any skills. In my opinion, they have the potential to make the game infinitely more entertaining and interesting because they are skills that prove that Nintendo wants to leave you free, completely free in the open world that they created. So with these 4 skills, Nintendo is giving you all the freedom possible to decide what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, having as limit only your creativity, because in Hyrule, you make your own path. My name is Juan, welcome to Game News, and these are my thoughts about the 10-minute demo of Legends of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So the demo starts with Link riding around Hyrule, and right at the beginning we can see that now Hyrule reaches high into the sky with the Sky Islands that we had already seen in other trailers. But this time they showed something different and introduced to us one of the ways to get to the islands, and it was through a giant rock that fell from one of the islands. We don't know if the stone fell because an enemy pushed it or if every time we are near one of the Sky Islands that will happen. So when Link finally reaches the rock, we are presented with the first new ability: Recall. And with this ability, Link can rewind an object's movement, and in my opinion, this mechanic is incredible. Let's be honest, we all have always wanted this ability in our games. Imagine the possibility to undo something that happened during your gaming section, like that coffee that you spit on your white mouse pad, or that text that you send your ex. And talking about Tears of the Kingdom, this opens up huge gameplay possibilities like accessing new areas as demonstrated in the video, but unfortunately Nintendo didn't want to give too much things away in the demo, so they only showed Link using this ability to access the Sky Islands. But I'm sure this will not be the only use of this ability, and I can already see myself using Recall on enemies to push some away so I can fight with one at a time, and even if it is possible to use Recall on Link when I made a mistake, like when I'm falling from a really high place, or even just to reposition myself, just like Tracer from Overwatch does. So a lot of possibilities. This skill opens a lot of possibilities, and not even mentioning that this skill is going to be super useful and super friendly for new gamers in the game because their mistakes will be way more forgiven, so the game will be more satisfying for them. And this ability seems like those abilities that seems easy to use but really hard to master, because a noob, let's put it like that, will use these abilities to do basic stuff. But if you master this ability, your gameplay possibility and the way you play this game can be completely different. So I really like this idea. I really like this mechanic. So for the first time, we can see in a more calm way what the Sky Islands will be like. And I did notice that they will be very diverse, not only in size, but also in terms of what kind of human structures they will have, topography, and even vegetation. And speaking of vegetation, the narrator said something very interesting. He said that we will not find the vegetation that is on the Sky Islands on the surface. And that's very cool because it not only gives visual identity to the Sky Islands, but also creates motivation for you to explore them, because you will feel in a different place that certainly will have different loot. And on the island, we also had the opportunity to see a new enemy called Construct, which looks like a pile of green pots stacked on top of each other. And we also had a glimpse of what the combat will be like. It doesn't seem very different from Breath of the Wild, which is a good thing in my opinion, because the combat in Breath of the Wild is super well done, precise, solid, and well animated, so there is no reason to change it. And on the Sky Islands, we also had the opportunity to see the second ability in action, and it's called Fuse. And with it, Link can stick objects together. And here also the possibilities are endless. You can combine objects to create new weapons with different effects. And in the demo, we can see Link using Fuse on a lot of objects, creating many interesting things. For example, we can see him use Fuse on a stone and a branch, increasing the durability of the branch and increasing its damage, modifying the stats of the weapon and the looks of it. We can also see him use fuse on a long stick with a pitchfork to create a weapon with a much longer attack range. And one of the aspects that impressed me a lot was the possibility of using fuse with items from your inventory. In the demo we can see some examples like Link using fuse on a leaf to an arrow, and also using fuse on the ice elemental material, thus being able to freeze enemies. But something really interesting is that you are not the only one who can use fuse. The enemy seems to be able to do the same. So during the demo we can see a construct with a fuse weapon, and he uses the weapon to launch a wind attack against Link, showing that the enemies can adapt to the weapon that they have in their hands. And Link can use fuse on a Key's eyeball, an arrow, giving aimbot to the arrow, and we can also combine a puff shroom with a shield, and when you block, the mushroom explode, creating a smoke cloud, allowing you to attack the enemies from behind. And it seems that these stealth attacks will work as an execution because Link hits the enemy with one attack and the enemy dies, which is cool because it shows that the game will reward you in some way for using the mechanics and new abilities, which in turn encouraged you to use the mechanics, creating a loop of satisfaction that will keep you engaged in the game for hours. So with fuse you can do a lot of things. The limit seems really to be your creativity. They also showed a more refined way of using fuse called Ultra Hand, which gives Link the possibility to combine things in a more precise and not permanent way, giving you the possibility to experiment and create your own design, for example for means of transportation. In the demo we can see Link creating a kind of boat, a flying machine, a car, a balloon. As I said before, you can craft whatever you want. The limit seems really to be your creativity. And the last ability they show is Ascend, which allows Link to pass through the ceiling of structures and caves, which is very interesting not only for moving around but also for when you get lost in a cave you can easily find your way out. And the animation of the ability is really nice when used in a structure with thicker ceilings. So a really cool ability that will help you with exploration of the world a lot. So really well done too. So in conclusion, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, for me these abilities are Nintendo's way of giving you entire control of the gameplay, allowing you to make your own decisions and be fully responsible for how you interact and explore Hyrule. So in an industry where most AAA games have a preset adventure for you, Nintendo is allowing you to recall your freedom and fuse exploration with narrative, letting you handcraft your own path and thus allowing you to ascend to a unique experience. My name is Juan, and don't forget to subscribe.